This is music, and this is a bunch of first impressions all the way from Ranos. Welcome to another first impressions video. In these videos I normally share with you my first impressions of the many blind buys I've picked up lately, but this is another special edition. In this video I will follow up on an amazing VCLT I got from none other than the legend Jacob from Jacob's music channel KRI. Check it out, vinyl community channel. He shows all sorts of genres, death metal to pop music, quite often in the same video. Excellent stuff. Check out his channel. So he sent me a really awesome VCLT with some CDs and some vinyl in it, and I'm gonna follow up on these. There will be a jarring jump cut at some point in this video because I have to shoot it in two sections to fit it into my schedule. Let's start with the CDs. Up first, Don't Cheer Me Up by Aftermath. I already had this one on vinyl, but this CD version comes with a lot of bonus material. It has the entire Straight from Hell on it, and it also has some cool demo material. So super stoked to have this one on CD as well. Now this is awesome thrash metal with some heavy metal influences as well, some speed metal, even a bit of hard rock every now and then, which is interesting. But the core style is thrash metal, and it's a bit of a gem. These are among the unsung heroes of the thrash metal genre, and definitely worth checking out. One thing that's interesting is that the vocals in places sound almost like a glam metal vocalist, but it works. Up next, also by Aftermath, Building Up to Meltdown. So this is a compilation. It has some Don't Cheer Me Up era stuff on here. It has some other material from some demos and stuff. Very similar style, apart from the last handful of songs. Now they sound like Watchtower Light, and they're great. So this is kind of like technical thrash metal, or maybe the third album by Death Row. I really like that last handful of songs. I like everything on here, but the last handful of songs are kick-ass technical thrash metal songs. So super awesome that Jacob sent me these. I really enjoy these, and they are worth checking out if you like your thrash metal for sure. Okay, up next we have Neon City by Angel Sword. I speculated that this might be thrash metal, but this is actually straight up heavy metal with a lot of hard rock in it. Some pretty cool riffs, good melodic sensibility. I quite enjoy this. The vocals are kind of semi-harsh, tough guy style vocals, but they work in most of the songs. There's a ballad or two where that style of singing just doesn't fit, but yeah, I like the vocals, to be honest. Very enjoyable stuff. This is an album I will listen to and enjoy every now and then, so that's awesome. Up next we have At Mania of Death by Manas. This is death metal, very old school death metal for the most part. It is from '98, so a lot of it sounds like, you know, this very early era of death metal, like death thrash. But you also have some grindy bits. It's a really interesting blend here. The guitar is quite weak in terms of both the distortion and in terms of the overall mix. The vocals and the drums are really loud. The bass, you can barely hear the bass. But yeah, some very cool songs, some very cool riffs on here. One thing that's interesting is that, yeah, you have some grindcore stuff. For example, there is Rage After Death. And those grindy elements, it almost sounds like either they are inspired by Napalm Death with Lee Dorian on vocals, or maybe they're making fun of Napalm Death with Lee Dorian on vocals. There are literally some parts where the vocals just sound like that. And it made me laugh. So I enjoyed it. I don't know if that was the intention, but yeah, this is fun. If you like death metal, it's a nice little piece to have in your collection for sure. But I enjoyed it for what it was. Maybe unintentionally funny, I don't know, but there are some quality bits as well. The production is not super great. Up next we have Exile to the Surface by Trader, thrash metal, and as it says on the hype sticker, it features Tom, Angel, Ripper on guest vocals on Total Thrash. So yeah, why not? I mean, why not brand themselves like that? Who cares? Thrash metal, kind of modern thrash metal, with some old school elements. Or maybe it's like old school-ish thrash metal with a very modern sound. It's great stuff. Really enjoyable. I like it. You have lots of obviously up-tempo, thrashy parts, some great guitar work, great solos and drums. Everything I enjoy, everything on this album for sure. There's even a pretty cool cover version of Careless Whisper. I mean, when I heard that, wait a minute, that melody, that's supposed to be on a saxophone. What's going on? And then it was that cover version of that, and it worked in a weird, bizarre way. So I like this album. Great thrash metal for sure. Definitely worth checking out if you are into thrash. It seems like they're kind of taking the piss out on thrash in a way, and at the same time it's a love letter to thrash metal, which I appreciate. So awesome stuff, really like it. And the last CD is The Last Action Hero soundtrack. Great stuff. I remember listening to this a lot back in the day, so it's technically not a first impressions, but one of my friends had it, I think, probably on CD. So yeah, you have some really cool songs on it. This soundtrack was famous, I guess, for being kind of more of a rock soundtrack. Lots of rock songs. You have AC/DC's Big Guns, which I think is a great song. There's some Alice in Chains on here. There's Angry Again by Megadeth, which I think is a great song. Queensryche's Real World is on here too. There's some Def Leppard. There's Poison My Eyes by Anthrax, which I think is one of the cool John Bush era songs. Dream On by Aerosmith is on here too. A live version of it, as far as I could make it out at least. I think maybe the coolest songs on here, they're Big Guns, that's one. Angry Again is another one. And then Cock the Hammer by Cypress Hill. That's a cool rap song. I really like that song. I did like Cypress Hill back in the day. Fishbone, Swim is actually pretty cool too. Kind of funky rock there. And then there's Tesla. With the title track, The Last Action Hero, quite heavy, I think, for a Tesla song. So yeah, this is a great soundtrack. I liked listening to it back then, and I still like listening to it. So there you go, a bunch of really cool CDs. Okay, so let's turn to the vinyl. Now, there were actually two vinyl in the VCLT. The other one was an Angel Dust record that it turned out that I already had that one, so I did what I thought was the right thing, and I VCLT'd it on to someone else who can enjoy it. But Jacob also included this one here, Critical Mass, Volume 3. It's a compilation of, I think, maybe Scandinavian bands for sure. And you have some really cool stuff on here. For example, it starts out with a Niflheim song, like dirty, blackened thrash. I'm starting to kind of doubt this whole blackened thing, what it actually means, to be honest. But it's thrash metal, and it's kind of dirty, kind of primitive, but not super lo-fi. It's a great song. You have Entrench as well, a thrash metal, death thrash. You have It's a good mix of thrash metal, death metal, crusty HM2 style death metal. There's some all-out punk rock as well. For example, Strul, they're like a hardcore punk band. They're like 3 or 4, kind of short but really fun, aggressive songs on here. You also have some hard rock and some heavy metal. It's a good mix of genres. It seems to me that the side A is a bit more thrashy, a bit more metally, and then side B is a bit more punky. But it's a very, very enjoyable listen. I quite enjoyed listening to this mix of different types of non-mainstream music. Good stuff. This is one I'll listen to very often. So there you go. Thanks to Jacob for putting together a really cool VCLT, and I enjoyed listening to everything in it. Go and check out his channel, Jacob's Music Channel KRI. Thanks for watching.